everyone, welcome to Northern Viking Explorer. If you're new here, my name is Ken and this is my wife Andrea. And today we're going to be doing a review of our experiences with the food and restaurants on Royal Caribbean's Navigator of the Seas. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So the food and restaurants on the Navigator of the Seas. Let's start out with the Windjammer Marketplace Buffet.
Everybody loves a buffet on a cruise ship, and that's one of the things I'm always curious. How big is the buffet? What do they offer?
It was kind of a horseshoe shape. And it was, I think it's definitely been modernized, and I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I liked how they changed the food up every day. There was something that was kind of highlighted or something that was different. There was a lot of options. There were a lot of seats.
Yeah.
You know what? I found that compared to the Ovation of the Seas, there wasn't the message all the time to please eat and leave for the next cruise passenger. They had a little more space.
Yeah.
I felt that we could sit there and enjoy our meal. It was nice up there.
Well, yeah, I would agree. There seemed like there was more space. Of course, as soon as you get on, like the first lunch, there's the rush. But beyond that, it was good. A few things of note. They had an area where they kind of made something different on a daily basis. So I think they had, was it donuts the one day?
The first night.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Very
Hot, fresh donuts.
I feel like there was like crepes or pancakes, different things. So that area would change on a daily basis. Of course, they had all their main desserts and different things like that, but they had
kind of a feature item.
Yeah, a feature item every day. Now, I want to talk about, so I always kind of talk about island-based buffets versus a single lineup for the buffet. This is kind of half and half, because I always find that island-based buffets, so where there's lots of islands, is much quicker than one single line that everybody waits in. So this would be kind of half and half. So there was probably 3 or 4 islands at the back, plus then you would line up kind of to go across.
But you could start at different sections. You didn't have to go start. If you wanted dessert, you didn't need to go through the salad bar first and pass the meats and potatoes. Like you could go right for dessert.
It was very efficient.
It was.
It was efficient that way. And food did definitely change throughout the week. They had the carving stations. They had, the roast type of meals or turkey, ham, that kind of stuff. Lots of desserts. Breads, of course.
And they have the best cheese buns.
You love their cheese buns.
They do. They have them in the main dining room too, but I love their cheese buns.
And at breakfast, of course, you can get the sausage and hash browns and eggs, bacon. There wasn't any bacon guards, so that's the other thing I always joke about is there's nobody. Not that I know I've said this before, but nobody's guarding the bacon. If you want 4 slices, take 4 slices, not someone with bacon, hidden behind and handing you one at a time. So there was ample amounts of that. It wasn't like they were trying to hide it from people.
Felt generous.
Felt generous
offerings.
So what else did I have here? There was deli meats, cheeses, grilled steaks, that sort of thing. I mean, I know I'm going through breakfast, lunch, and dinner in one kind of column here, but there was hot dogs and burgers. And they had a burger of the day too that was kind of pre-made.
Yeah. Lots of ethnic foods.
I have that on here. Yeah, international dishes. One wish that I have was that their sliced fruit.
Yes.
They didn't chop it up and cube it like on other ships. That's my favorite, when it's more like a fruit salad and it's already chopped up, watermelon or pineapple.
It was more like watermelon.
This was on the rind.
Yeah.
And for all the fruit. So there was solid like fruit, and maybe that's lazy of me, but I like it more.
You like a bowl of fruit,
like a fruit salad.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any of that I found. It was all a slice of watermelon or a slice of pineapple.
Because we actually like to take the fruit back to the cabin to eat it in the evening, to have diced up. And it's not as easy to take big slices. I mean, you can do it, but
So I think that's the only wish I had. I did think of one more or a couple more so.
Go ahead, tell me, and then I'll tell you if it's different than mine.
It has to do with the beverage stations.
Yeah.
So there were, I think probably I want to say 3 or 4 beverage stations, but they had staff pouring the juices and beverages all throughout the day, so you could just grab them.
which is faster.
You could go to the other ones and do it yourself, but it was really fast to get. If you wanted lemonade or orange juice in the morning, it was already poured. You could just grab it.
I think during peak times, the day they have staff filling up.
And they would
beverages.
also be asking us if they could serve it, which I really like.
They
If
would come to the table, yeah. They would say, what would you like to drink? They'd bring you your orange juice, your coffee, your tea.
Yeah. And that was, I know when it gets busy, sometimes they miss you, but like that is definitely convenient when you have
Hands full
hands
of
full
food.
of food, yeah. And then the coffee is Lavazza coffee. I actually quite enjoy their coffee, the complimentary coffee on the ship.
And the way that it pours, I know this is silly, but it's fast. It pours out really quick. Sometimes cruise lines use the machines where you got to hold the button down and it's quite slow and lineups build up behind you. There's no lineup. You can quickly just get your coffee and go,
Yeah.
which I like.
Yeah. Other thoughts on the Windjammer? Because I've kind of gone through all
Hey,
mine.
this is kind of a reoccurring thing that I wish throughout the ship. I wish there was a water bottle filling station.
Oh, good point.
Because they don't want you filling your water bottle under the water tap that they have in there. So you got to fill up a cup and then dump it in. So
Yeah.
I wish actually throughout the ship there was water bottle refilling because people like to carry like a
and
big thing of water.
It would save on dishes on the ship because especially in a hotter like Mexican cruise like this one was, to be able to fill your water bottle would be super handy.
Especially you want to stay hydrated, right? And drinking your water, that would be really nice.
Yeah. I do want to mention ample hand washing stations when you come in.
And they
as well.
make you wash your hands.
Yeah.
Which I like, especially when a buffet, when you're all touching the same utensils. I still would like to sanitize my hands after again, but I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Other thoughts on that area?
Let me see. No.
Because
I mean,
I
really
want to
liked
jump
it.
out to like by the pool area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was actually probably my favorite restaurant on the ship. El Loco Fresh was on there. It's like a Mexican buffet out by the pool.
It was really good, and they had a lot of options between meats, and they had chips. I like that.
It was nice. It was complimentary, so you could make your little tacos or burritos. Some of it was pre-made, with I want to say 2 or 3 different meats, like chicken and beef and maybe pork. And you go through the line, and then they had the chips, as well as they had kind of a salsa bar with cheese and guacamole and all the salsas and tomatoes, everything like that.
Sour cream. Well, maybe not sour cream.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But that was
Definitely guacamole.
it was really convenient being out by the pool. It was complimentary. It was really good, and I enjoyed that.
I really liked it. And the one thing I like to do was to take the chips, get back in line, and add the beef. And then they had like a cheese sauce that I put on, so to have like a big plate of nachos. I really like doing that.
Okay, this is going to be a dumb wish, though.
Okay.
I think the chips were at the wrong end of the line. The
They
chips
were.
should have been at the beginning
They
rather than
should've,
the
yeah.
end because you'd get to the end, grab your chips, and then you wanted to go back through the line again. So
The line was short, but you would be going backwards if you.
I felt like they put one area for chips for both lines, and it was at the end. So it was kind of anyway. It's silly, but it was. It would have been less confusion because everybody seemed to be doing the same thing.
I have a couple wishes though.
Okay.
I found during peak times it was difficult to find a table out there because it is close to the pool and there are a lot of people enjoying that space who are just enjoying the space, not eating. So we actually found we would go back into the Windjammer with our food.
Yeah, which was hard because you have to wash your hands when you go back into the Windjammer.
And you're carrying food.
Which we made it work,
Yeah.
but it's just we wouldn't have had to do that if there was more seats
There was.
out there.
Oh, and
Yeah.
another wish, I do wish they had the lemonade and the iced tea out there because it's just water out there. And I have one more wish.
Okay.
This is silly, I know. But the one thing I like about the Windjammer is that everybody has to wash their hands. There were sinks out there, but I didn't find that people were washing their hands.
No.
So if you're really concerned about that,
Yeah.
just heads up.
Yeah.
But I really liked the food. It was really good.
Before we get to Johnny Rockets, I want to just talk about the ice cream hut. So
Okay, yeah.
on the other end of the pool, you'll find the ice cream hut. Really good ice cream.
What's good?
Vanilla, chocolate, and swirl.
Swirl.
Yeah, so it's free. They actually make it for you. They make them on the smaller side.
I wish
so
they would just do one
more
extra
twist.
Like,
But you can have as many as you want, so that's fine. But yeah, the ice cream hut.
which is there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Johnny Rockets Express. I had full intentions of eating at Johnny Rockets Express.
I did too.
It was on my to-do list. And I'll tell you, there was 2 problems I had. The one problem was, again, seating was difficult to find.
Mm-hmm.
So especially if I'm going to pay a little extra, I want to sit and enjoy the experience of the whole.
Well, you do have to pay to eat there.
Yeah.
So it's not like the full Johnny Rockets where you sit in a booth or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to pay to eat there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right by the pool area. So
anybody can take up the table space there.
Mm-hmm.
So you could pay for a burger and end up walking around with nowhere to sit.
Yeah.
So you want to know what my second problem was?
Sure.
I was always too full. I was too full. I really wanted a milkshake.
Yeah.
And I needed to plan to skip lunch or something. And it's funny, you think you'll have lots of time and that cruise flies by.
Well, and every time I thought, oh, maybe I should have Johnny Rockets, I was right next to the buffet, which was serving burgers. So I just walked over there.
So if you have
But I didn't even, I
let
think I
us
had
know
one. Yeah.
how you liked it, because I really wanted to try it. So
Yeah.
next time we'll have to go back.
All right, let's dive down to the Cafe Promenade area.
Yes.
So I think, so the pizza is served in Cafe Promenade.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they had little sandwiches, fruit, kind of some desserts that changed throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that was complimentary.
That's right. No, and I really appreciate, because that's open 24/7. The food's always there. There's water, there's coffee, there's teas.
I think some of the food, though, in the middle of the night gets pretty limited of what they're serving.
I even found late at night, it was pretty limited.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of a wish there was a little more there at times.
Yeah. Yeah. Other thoughts?
I would just add the lemonade and iced tea there too.
Okay, yeah. So there was coffee and
There
tea.
was tea. Yeah, lots of different teas.
Before we get to the main dining room, let's just quickly mention the Starbucks.
Yes.
So the Starbucks, full Starbucks.
Full Starbucks. Nice seating, nice.
Yeah. And I'm really sad because they've got the new Royal Caribbean Navigator of the Seas Starbucks mugs. And I see they're out now, and they didn't have them. I think we were probably the week before they came out. So I'm really sad
We
I
were
didn't
so
get that.
close. So very, very close.
Yeah, because I really wanted that. But, oh well, we'll have to go back sometime.
So let's talk about this main dining room.
You know what? I just thought of a really big thing about the Windjammer Buffet, and it's a wish.
Okay, tell me.
When the Windjammer Buffets close, they shut the area down. So you can't go sit in there when they're closed, which I think is a real drawback, especially if the weather is not great or it's even too hot. You can't just go play cards in the Windjammer when they're closed. And they other cruise lines will keep that area open, so even if you're not taking from the buffet, you can at least go sit in there, and they shut it fully down.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Main dining room.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful classic
3
diner.
stories. I
Big
love
chandelier.
I think it's
staircases.
I think it's my favorite main dining room of all the cruises we've been on.
I feel like I'm in Beauty and the Beast when I'm in there. I have that whoa.
Chandeliers, the big staircase that goes up. There's art, dresses and things on the wall. It's really cool.
Windows, views of the ocean. I love their dining room.
So we went there for breakfast on a few occasions. We actually had brunch there. Now I think brunch was limited. I know they don't do that all the time.
That's correct.
Because there's different lengths of sailings, that sort of thing. And then we went there for dinner, I think almost every day.
We went every night for dinner.
So breakfast, omelets, eggs, breakfast burritos, pastries, French toast, all that kind of stuff.
It was good.
Yeah.
Donuts.
Complimentary orange juice or apple juice. Really, any thoughts on the food for breakfast?
I really enjoyed it. I found that they didn't offer as long of hours as I'd want for breakfast time. It was definitely condensed down.
Yeah.
I would have liked it offered later into the morning.
The service was phenomenal, but you're right, it did end quite early.
And you know what? And a little quick wish. At breakfast, I wish they walk around with the pastries so you could see them. Because you could ask for the pastries, but you don't know what pastries they have.
Yeah. No,
So
that's true.
And maybe it's a good thing because then I'm like, this one and this one and this one because,
Yeah.
I want to try everything.
But again, lots of options there, yogurts, all that kind of stuff. Dinner.
Dinner was beautiful. I love dinner.
You get the basket of bread. You know what I like about the main dining room as well? They've got the tablecloths in there.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you make a crummy mess with all your bread, they'll come scrape it up.
And even though we didn't have dinner set at an exact same time every night,
Yeah.
they made an effort to try and seat us with the same wait staff or next to that section. We were always seated in the same area, which meant we saw the same staff and they got to know us a bit, which is nice.
I would agree. And lots of free options in there. So some of our favorites, the calamari, spinach and artichoke dip. These are the appies, though. I like the iceberg wedge salad.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty.
There was pork tacos.
You know what? Yeah.
I enjoyed those.
We try. The one thing I love about cruising is you get to try things you wouldn't normally like. And it's because you're not seeing the bill for each item. If you didn't like it, you're not sad.
Well,
you can try things, or you can order something else.
Well, commonly they'll get questions about, oh, did you see this type of food? And it's so hard to remember because there's so many options. Like we can't possibly try everything. So
no, and then your appies and main course and dessert.
Well, yeah, main course though, prime rib, southern fried chicken, beef tenderloin, pulled pork enchiladas.
Lamb,
Caribbean chicken, and then on one of the formal nights they did have lobster as well, but lamb shank, I believe. Yeah. So there's, plus tons of other options.
That's so many.
And then desserts. Some of our favorites, the key lime pie.
Oh, so good, so good. I believe it's the first night.
Yeah. I don't think I saw it throughout the week. So if you see the key lime pie, definitely worth.
Oh, and it had like graham cracker crust. It was delicious. It's really fresh. Woo, it's good.
Yeah. Creme brulee, caramel flan.
Is that the caramel flan that they had on the Mexican inspired night? It was so much like a creme brulee. It was divine. I think that was my favorite. The flan. Flan. Oh, so good. So good.
I think there might have been a couple. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There's different cobblers, fudge brownies, baked Alaska.
It's all good.
Yeah. But that's it. All I have on the food. Did you have any other thoughts? There's specialty restaurants as well. There's so much free food that we didn't have any of the specialty restaurants. But any other thoughts?
Okay, this isn't a wish. It's just the reality. I want to do everything and eat everything on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
I want to experience the whole trip. So one thing I do find challenging is squeezing in dinner and getting to see all the shows. That was sometimes my own time management was difficult.
Yeah.
So it's not really a wish. It's just looking at the schedule of the day and figuring out what works for you.
Yeah. I think you wanted to mention the other specialty restaurants.
Yeah. So just so you know, there's also the chef's table. There is Chops Grill. There's Hooked. There's Izumi's, Jamie's Italian, and again, Johnny Rockets Express. We do want to try getting to sample more of these, but I just found I didn't get to try everything. There was so much.
It's so busy.
So much.
Yeah. So, all in all, food and restaurants are amazing on this cruise, and we're really happy with them.